Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a seriously dense, totally fascinating ancient worldview. It basically argues that human consciousness is the central gear turning the entire universe. We're going to explore some literally world-altering concepts about the incredible power of the human mind. And look, this isn't just your standard psychology. It's a lot to wrap our heads around, for sure, but the way this philosophy maps out the mind is incredibly visual and, surprisingly, really practical.
Okay, let's dive into this with a pretty dramatic question. Could human emotion literally change the weather? Think about it. Can one person's deep, harboring grudge actually cause unnatural frost to fall in the middle of summer? Now, according to the ancient wisdom we're unpacking today, the answer isn't just poetic, it's a literal yes. The idea here is that the universe is hypersensitive to our human emotional states.
Part 1. Mind, the universal center, and how the cosmos connects to us. So, to understand how that could possibly work, we first need to look at the big picture, the macro perspective. We're going to explore how the universe itself reacts to the human mind as its central axis. There are these three fundamental cosmic elements linked together. First, heaven's usage of rain and dew. Second, Earth's usage of water and soil. And third, humanity's usage of virtue, basically how we treat each other. Now, all three of these elements can be given generously, or they can be severely withheld. For instance, if heaven is stingy with rain, well, we get deserts. If Earth is stingy with soil, we get barren land. And if humans are stingy with virtue, being rude or cruel, we end up with resentment and conflict in literally all our affairs. But, why would heaven and Earth be stingy in the first place? Well, it all boils down to one core thesis. Everything depends on the mind. The generosity of the entire physical universe fundamentally depends on us. Heaven and Earth basically mirror human states. So if humanity becomes cruel, cold, and harsh, nature responds with droughts and natural disasters. Part 2. Heaven, Earth, and us, the cosmic mirror.
So you're probably wondering, is there any actual proof of this giant cosmic mirror? Well, look back at the legendary ancient era of Yao and Shun, which is often described as a time of perfect peace. During this era, people were supposedly so generous and open-hearted that they would actually leave their leftover food outside their doors for anyone who might be hungry. And what happened to the weather? Historical records describe the rain and wind perfectly synchronizing with their needs. Because the people were universally generous, nature responded by providing exactly the right amount of rain and wind for a perfect harvest. It's like the ultimate positive feedback loop. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Looking at this distressed, angry figure right alongside the ancient text highlights a truly terrifying concept. A single wronged woman harboring a deep grudge can cause frost to fall in May. May, the middle of summer. The text argues that a human mind, completely blocked by resentment, literally blocks the natural flow and energy of the universe, essentially forcing nature to mimic that harsh, cold, life-destroying anger.
Part 3. The mind is a doorway. Internal architecture. Okay, but how does a thought inside your head actually reach the clouds? It's like a giant puzzle. Let's zoom into the micro-level architecture of the mind to understand exactly how this cosmic connection functions mechanically. To wrap our heads around this, we have to look at highly visual spatial metaphors. Here, the mind isn't just some abstract brain function. It's physical architecture. It is a hinge, a doorway, and a road. The hinge is specifically emphasized. It's the pivot point that allows a heavy door to swing open or slam shut. It's basically the most critical piece of infrastructure holding this whole system together. Let's move to this next concept and see how this all builds. If the mind is a doorway and a road, what exactly is traveling on it? Well, it's an invisible traffic of spirits. Now, hold on, before you picture actual ghosts, think of these as sudden good ideas, sudden dark moods, or impulsive thoughts. When a brilliant idea pops into your head out of nowhere, it's an invisible guest that just casually walked right through your mind's doorway. Part 4. Good and evil spirits. Managing the traffic. So this brings us to the climax of the explainer, the internal battle. With your mind acting as an open door on a really busy road, how do you manage the traffic? Because you are going to get all kinds of visitors. So the crucial point is how you react to these guests. There are two clear directives here. Treat the good as a teacher and actively correct the bad. When a positive, helpful thought or spirit enters your mind, don't just take the credit for it. Treat it with real gratitude. Think it as a teacher.
But when a negative, destructive, or angry thought enters, you must actively fight to drive it away. You absolutely cannot let it set up camp in your house. But let's be real, driving away bad thoughts is incredibly difficult. The text actually compares them to phlegm caught in the throat that just won't clear. Gross, but we've all been there. So what is the practical method? You must painstakingly itemize your mistakes. You can't just wave it off and vaguely say, yeah, I messed up. You have to review your faults one by one. And yeah, looking at your faults so specifically is deeply uncomfortable, but this intense, honest scrutiny acts like a spotlight that terrifies and drives away those negative spirits.
And if you can master this mental traffic control, you reach a profound conclusion. The mind's doorway is larger than heaven and earth. Think about that. A mind that successfully manages this flow, welcoming the good and driving away the bad, expands infinitely. The internal space of human consciousness actually becomes vaster and more powerful than the physical universe itself.
Part 5. Welcoming guests. Opening to fortune. Now, what's really interesting about this is zooming back out to the macro, practical level. How do we actually apply this vast, abstract cosmic philosophy in our everyday modern lives? Well, see this vibrant illustration of physical guests entering a colorful gate? The internal, philosophical doorway of the mind maps directly to the literal, physical door of your house. Opening your actual front door to guests operates on the exact same cosmic principle as opening your mind to good thoughts.
There is actually a very specific step-by-step logic to changing your destiny here. Let's walk through it. Step 1. You welcome a physical guest into your home and share your food, even when it's kinda inconvenient. Step 2. By honoring that person, you are simultaneously honoring the invisible protective spirits and ancestors attached to them. Step 3. Because you've shown such incredible hospitality to this unseen network, your own personal fortune and destiny radically change for the better. And this poses a pretty sharp warning for how a lot of us live today. Think about modern isolation, locking ourselves in apartments and avoiding our neighbors just out of convenience. That literally turns a home into a prison cell. By shutting our literal doors, we are cutting ourselves off from the positive cosmic traffic. We block out the physical people, and in doing so, we block out all the spiritual help, fortune, and good energy that travels right along with them. The mechanics of the mind and the mechanics of the universe are ultimately the exact same thing. So I'll leave you with a final thought to ponder. If your mind is a doorway and your front door is a portal for fortune, what kind of guests, both the invisible thoughts in your head and the physical people in your life, are you leaving your doors open for today? Keep those hinges oiled, and thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.